Hello and welcome to another live coding session for Runes of Aereal. And today we'll be continuing on our crafting series. In our previous video on crafting, we created a number of spellbooks and we configured spellbooks like these three here to be able to craft some object based on 3 ingredients. Those ingredients are these items here, which are grouped in a crafting family, whereas the spellbooks are grouped in a spellbook family. So the idea is to start creating the interface for the crafting right now. So the interface, in my idea, is some kind of derivative of this inventory, where now the inventory here at the left hand side contains some buttons where whenever you click a button you see your inventory here. What I would like here for the crafting interface is that we at the left hand side here we can switch between spellbooks and crafting items. Whenever we select a spellbook, here at the right hand side will appear what is needed for that spellbook. We can drag in the things from the crafting items, and if we have all the things for the crafting items that are available, then we can craft the item and then create the result object type. Basically, that's what we're going to have. So what we want to do here is we want to create a copy of this inventory screen layout, let's say, and we also want a copy of the inventory event sheet, because a lot of things here are going to work in approximately the same way, except that they are derivatives of one another. So now we'll start creating the copy here of this inventory layout. So the inventory layout is this one here, and we can click right and we say duplicate. Now we are going to call it crafting. Oh, name is already in use. Is it now? Yes, okay. Let's call it crafting station. It's the crafting station then. Okay. So at the crafting station, just to close everything up in regards to inventory, in order to avoid things like doing stuff on the inventory layout instead of doing it in the crafting station. That would be very annoying. So we're going to start by removing a lot of stuff here that is based on the inventory layout, so things we don't need anymore. So here we're not going to do a preview of some kind. So this, let's unlock the book here and unlock the interface and the scroll and the content. Here we have this placeholder. We don't need that here, so we're going to delete that off. Also, these different buttons here, we really don't need it, except for maybe, yes, we want buttons here to switch between crafting items and spellbooks, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to delete off, let's fix this lock selection. We're going to delete off these two, and we're going to make this category crafting station. This one as well. Spellbooks, and the text should be spellbooks, and we say items, and the text should say items. Okay, let's put that. Interesting. It should be actually on the scroll overlay. So we're going to pick all of these things here, and we're going to change the layer to the scroll overlay, and that way we can put it We'll put it there, like that. Items, put it there. Let's central align this, so we can put it here, make it a bit smaller, like that. And also, let's lock some stuff. Let's also lock it. Let's align this and size, make the same width, and align them at the top edge. This goes there, this goes there, but also center align this. Okay, spellbooks. Okay. So these are now two buttons here on the top, with which you can switch between spellbooks and items. And the idea is, of course, that these spellbooks and items appear below here and that you can scroll through them. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pick everything here and I'm going to move them over here, like that. So these placeholders here, just like in the inventory, should contain either spellbooks, either items, depending on where we click, of course. And then we can see those spellbooks. If we click a spellbook here, we should see the details right here. If there's nothing selected, we should have a notion called, we should see something called, please select a spellbook or something. You select the spellbook, and then you go to the items, you drag the items in, and the spellbook creates, the crafting station creates the item if it's possible, of course. So let's move that away for now. Oh, no, that's not what I want. I want to lock this so I can select this one here. And for now, let's delete that off. So, in terms of content, what we now need actually is an interface where we have three squares here where we can drag stuff in, and we have some arrows pointing to something where we see what is going to be created, really. But I don't have such an interface yet, so we're going to have to create it. So my idea was to go into the menu here, and in the menu we already have something called the checkbox. And I'm going to move the checkbox here to the content. And you can see this is just a sprite. But we can increase its size without using too much quality. So what we can do is clone this object type. And instead of checkbox 2, we call crafting ingredient. Crafting ingredient box. This is a box for the crafting ingredient. So the context is crafting. Context. Let's leave that open for now. And the ID will be 1 for the first ingredient. Actually, we can delete that off. Okay, put that there. There. This is the first. This is the second. Call that 2. This is the third. We call that 3. 3. We have it. So we are going to nicely align this. Edges to top, and we're going to align this as well and space it equally horizontally. Okay, great. Okay, so now we still need some kind of interface here to show the result, actually. So let's clone this once more, and let's call this new object type crafting result box, for example. We want to create that, make that a little bit bigger because it's going to contain possibly some larger things like cards or scrolls. And I don't really want to make such a big border, so let's do something like that. Okay, I agree. And then delete that. Okay, very nice. So that's great. And now what I want is to have some lines going like that to just indicate that these things create one another. And we also want to move this a little bit more to the left, so this is nicely aligned. Is it something like that? Yeah. So now what we can do is use, for example, this volume indicator. Use the volume indicator and also make a clone of that. I need absolutely no instance variable here, but we can call it crafting interface lines or something like that. Let's make this a little bit smaller. This is actually a 9-patch object. So what we'll do is do that. Make it opacity 100 because I see it's a little bit lighter. Like that. And it should be the order at the bottom. Not 100% satisfied here, but for now it will do, I think. We can make some amendments and on the interface here later. Like that. Actually, it's not too bad, is it? In the polishing phase, we'll see how we can change all of this, perhaps to make some more professional interface. But right now, I'm pretty okay. I think it's just not really centered aligned enough. That'll be better. Okay. So what we will do now is we have 3 boxes here with ingredient 1, ingredient 2, ingredient 3, and this is the potential result, of course. And then I want this generic text here to have a spellbook name. This let's do something like that, just to indicate that it's a placeholder. And then we copy this, remove it to the scroll overlay, and spellbook description like that. We also change this here. And of course, we'll make it like 20, that's too low, 24, okay, that's better. So, when we click a spellbook, these two here should change to hold the spellbook name and the spellbook description. Alright, so the last thing I think in terms of interface, not the last thing, what we're forgetting here is a button to start crafting this thing, actually. So, do we still have enough space here? I want to move that up a bit. Can we still move that up a bit? So this is the upper limit, but before it gets lost really in the overlay here. But here in this area, we can still make a button. And I can copy that. I'm going to place it on the overlay here. because then otherwise it would fall beneath this part here, the overlay part here. I don't want that. And I want to say, for example, craft. So let's see what that looked like. Okay, these are things I will need to be fixing here with these cards here, but all of this, the fact that this does not work, and the fact that we see cards here, is just due to the fact that we still use the inventory event sheet here. And what we're going to make for this screen, actually we're going to make our own inventory event sheet, our own crafting event sheet. But last thing I'm going to do here before we conclude the video is clean this up a bit and move these items here to the menu, subfolder, and save. So that's it for the second part of this video, series on creating the crafting interface. As always, please like, please subscribe, and if you want the source code for this project, please support me on my Patreon page. See you next time.